So today we'll use our equation skills and we'll have variables on both sides of the equation. So you're going to have to pick a side to move the variables to. Other than that, everything's exactly the same as multi-step equations. So here's our first example. 8 minus 8x equals 6 times x plus 6. So if this was a multi-step equation problem, the first thing you would do is simplify. We'll do the exact same thing. So remember, when we simplify, so step 1, simplify. That meant that we did distribution, and then we combined like terms. I've abbreviated both of these because you've seen it several times. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 6 is 36. So now I have 8 minus 8x equals 6x plus 36. Well, you're going to notice something. So I'm going to go ahead and take this whole equation and rewrite it over here. I've got 8 minus 8x equals 6x plus 36. You're going to notice on each side of the equal sign, so 6x plus 36, I don't have any like terms to combine. This is my x term, this is my constant. On the left hand of the equation, I also don't have any like terms to combine. This is my x term, this is my constant. So I begin to use inverse operations. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the coefficient on the variable that's larger. So what's a larger number? Positive 6 or negative 8? Positive 6 is the larger number. So I'm going to eliminate negative 8 using inverse operations. So I'll add 8x. I'll add 8x. 8x minus 8x or negative 8x plus 8x is 0. So it's been eliminated. And now I have 8 equals 6x plus 8x is 14x plus 36. Now I can subtract the 36 to the other side. 36 minus 8 is 28. So I have negative 28 equals 14x. I divide by 14. And negative 2 equals x. So if I were to type that in my blank, it already says x equals. You can see up here it says x equals. So all I'm typing in is negative 2. Here's my next example. Here's our second example. Again, this is our second example, and we're going to follow the same procedure as in the last example. So we're going to simplify by distributing first, and then combining like terms, and then we'll get into our inverse operations. Negative 2 times 2r is negative 4r. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And I still have this 4r over here. That equals negative 2 plus 2r. Well, when I combine like terms, my 4r and my negative 4r combine to 0. So now I'm left with negative 2 plus 2r equals 4. My variable is only on one side now. I can add 2. So this is inverse operations, is what I'm doing now. And I have 2r equals 8. Then I can divide by 2, and r equals 4. Now remember, I already have r equals up here, so in my blank, all I'm putting is 4. I'm just typing in 4. Here's my next example. Some of these text boxes don't work, so I'm going to stop using them. Again, I begin by simplifying, distribution, and then combining like terms. So here I go with distribution. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15x. I still have the plus 3x. And on the other side, I have negative 12x minus 14. Negative 15x plus 3x is negative 12x. I still have my 5. That equals negative 12x minus 14. I choose the larger side. Negative 12x and negative 12x are the same. There's not a larger side, so it doesn't matter where I add it from. So plus 12x plus 12x. This is 0. This is also 0. And I'm left with negative 14 equals 5. Now remember, we talked briefly about equations where the variables go away, where the variables end up eliminating. If the statement is true, it's all real numbers. If the statement is false, which this one is false, the answer is no solution. So in my text box, if this was working, I would type no solution. But yeah, these ones, the font's too big, it's not showing up in the box. But it would just say no solution, just like it does down here. That's exactly what it would look like. Next example. You can see there's distribution on both sides. Same process. Distribute, combine like terms, inverse operation. So here we go. 2 times p is 2p. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. That equals 4 times p, which is 4p. 4 times negative 4, which is negative 16. I subtract 8. Here are my like terms. Negative 16, negative 8. That becomes negative 24. I have 4p still. It equals 2p minus 12. And I'm looking for the bigger variable. 4p is the bigger variable. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the 2p. 2p minus 2p is 0. So I have negative 12 equals 4p minus 2p, which is 2p minus 24. Now I go ahead and add the 24. I end up with 12 equals 2p. And I can divide by 2. So 6 equals p. And again, that's what I would type up in this box, just 6. That's what my answer is. I don't have to put the p because it already says p equals right up here. So here again, I'll distribute twice, but they're both on the same side. So I just go ahead and start my distribution. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 3 times 8 is 24b. Negative 5 times b is negative 5b. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. On the other side, I still have 6b plus 5b, which I can go ahead and combine. These are like terms, so I can go ahead and combine those. 6 plus 5 is 11b. And I'll combine like terms over here as well. I've got a 24b minus a 5b. That is 19b. And I have a constant of 6 and a constant of negative 10, which is negative 16. I can go ahead and add this to the other side. And I end up with 27b equals. Let me back up a step. What I should be doing is combining the b's. So I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to go ahead and combine my b's first. I have 11b and 19b. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the 11b. 11 minus 11 is 0. So I have 0 equals 19 minus 11 is 8b minus 16. And I'm going to go ahead and add 16 to both sides. So 16 equals 8b. I divide by 8. And 2 equals b. And again, 2 is the only thing I have to type into the box. We'll distribute again. 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 8 is 24. 8 times negative 4, negative 32n. 8 times 3, positive 24. I don't have any like terms on the right side. I don't have any like terms on the left side. So I find the higher number. 3n is larger than negative 32n. So I'm going to eliminate the negative 32n by adding it to the other side. And I get 35n plus 24 equals 24. I subtract 24 from both sides. 24 minus 24 is 0 here. It eliminates. It's 0 over here as well. So 35n equals 0. When I divide by 35, 0 divided by 35 is 0. So n equals 0. And again, all I have to put in over here is the 0. We're on example 7. I'm distributing. Negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16. Negative 2 times negative b is positive 2b. It equals 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3b, which is positive 24b. I eliminate the coefficient on the variable that's smaller, so I have 24b and I have 2b. So I eliminate the 2b by subtracting. 2b minus 2b is 0. I have 16 equals 16 minus 22b, and that should be a plus. 24 minus 2 is positive 22b. I subtract 16 from both sides. I get 0 equals 22b. I divide by 22. 0 divided by 22 is 0. 0 equals b. I'm going to go ahead and distribute again. 3 times negative 4n is negative 12n. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 8 times n is negative 8n. Negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. Note, I have no like terms to combine on the right side of the equation. I have no like terms to combine on the left side of the equation. So I begin inverse operations. What's larger, negative 8n or negative 12n? Well, negative 8n is larger than negative 12n. It's a more positive number, even though they're both negative. So I eliminate the 12n by adding, and I end up with 0. So negative 12 equals 12 minus 8 is 4n minus 56. I add the 56 to both sides, and I end up with 44 equals 4n. I divide by 4, and 11 equals n. I distribute, so I have negative 32 r plus 40 equals negative 2 minus 12r, and I still have the minus 6r. So these are my like terms, minus 12r, minus 6r, that's negative 18r. I still have the negative 2 out front, and that equals negative 32r plus 40. Negative 32r is the smaller coefficient with the variable, so I go ahead and add it to the other side, and I end up with 40 equals negative 2 plus is that 16? It is. It's 14. Plus 14 r. I add 2 to both sides. I get 42 equals 14r. I divide by 14. And that is 3. Here we are on example 10. 2 times r is 2r. 2 times 6 is 12. Equals, distribute the negative, so it's negative 3, and it's negative 3r. No like terms on either side, so I go ahead and add the 3r because it's smaller than 2r. This is a negative 3r, positive 2r, so I get 5r plus 12 equals negative 3. I subtract 12, and I have 5r equals negative 15. I divide by 5, and r equals negative 3. Next example, we'll get as far as we can. This is negative 10x minus 6 equals negative 8 minus 8x. No like terms. I add the 10x, and I have 2x, still have the negative 8, and the negative 6. I add 8 to get 2, and I have 2 equals 2x. Divide by 2 on both sides, x equals 1. This is our last example. We don't have time for it, but it's just like the others. Distribute, combine like terms, use inverse operations.